Sort of quite the an outgoing character anyway, so a little change here and there, never anyone really. Oh, I've had some stick. It's a great squad and there's a lot of banter flying around, and most of the time I'm the butt of it with my hair, to be honest with you.
As far as this weekend's game goes, Swansea haven't had the best of times recently. What about them as opposition?
Well, most people will say if there's any time that we can sneak a win down there, it's at the moment. But they're going to be very strong. They've got a point to prove. They're a very proud club, and they've got a lot of quality players down there. So it's going to be a massive game on Friday night.
Good dental work for the dentist, and mini dreadlocks is the chosen hairstyle for the night. Richard Parks. And could have a busy night out there tonight.
Yeah, I think it's a great battle in the back row. I think Jarvis and Dean Thomas. And I know something about Pontypridd that I think he's been to numerous clubs, but every time they settle at Pontypridd, they seem to play their best rugby of their careers, and it's testimony to the attitude and I think that the team spirit in Pontypridd that they all perform there.
Okay, team news from Graham.
Thanks, Ed. Well, changes off the field, as we've been hearing, and changes on this team sheet as well. Swansea bring back Kevin Morgan. He's fit again, comes in at full-back. Celilo Martens also returns at scrum half, so Rodri Jones drops down to the bench. Still got problems, though, Swansea at hooker. No Garen Jenkins or Chris Wells, so Craig Hawkins, who's on loan from Carmarthen Quins, he continues in the middle of the front row. Pontypridd, well, of course, they used to be the big Welsh nursery for local talent. I've just been adding up, there are 6 Southern Hemisphere players in this Ponty squad tonight, 2 of them making their debut. Nicky Little, the Fijian, he's had experience, of course, with Sale and more recently of Dax. He comes in at number 10, and also Glenn Remnant, a Kiwi from Waikato, comes in to the back row at number 8.
Thank you, Graham. We can take a look at the full lineup of the teams now. Home team Swansea, Jonathan, sweep us through the backs.
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic surface. It'd be great for running rugby, and Swansea, if they hit their mark, they're a very, very attractive side. Kevin Morgan is back, so he'll add a bit of pace from behind. Payne and Rees. I think it's nice to see Steve Wynn back. Hopefully, injury-free, of course, Scott Gibbs. And Gavin Henson at 10, not Arwell Thomas.
And there's plenty of bulk up front too. Colin Jarvis, of course, vast experience in the back row. Second row too, Tyrone Morlin and Andy Moore. No shortage of muscle there. Perhaps difficulty at the lineouts. Craig Hawkins, Chris Wells and Garen Jenkins both injured. So it'll be interesting to see how the all-whites lineout functions. The away team, Jonathan?
Yeah, Pontypridd and Brett Davey, safe. And a lot of pace there. Gareth White enjoy playing down in St Helens. I think it's a lovely combination in the centre of Brian Dan Parker. Parker, very dangerous runner. But I think the key to this back line is Nicky Little. I think it's a bit of experience for the young side, as Lynn Howard said. A Fijian international standoff. So hopefully, he can control matters for the Pontypridd side.
And of course, up front, they will be competitive. Right, Pontypridd off at your peril. And there he is, Glenn Remnant from Waikato, Hamilton Old Boys, where Richard Lowe came from. Some name to strike fear. Michael Owen, he goes up into the second row tonight alongside Aussie Brett Cobain. And there we have the front row, Mervyn Davis. Duncan Bell, who of course went on tour with England in 1998, the Tour of Hell. But, he's a solid scrummager, and alongside Gethin Jenkins there, it's on their day, a match for anybody.
I just think that, we've had a lot of problems with, players leaving Pontypridd, but all of a sudden they've assembled a quality bunch there. And if they can, get injury-free for a couple of months, I can't see why not. They can, climb up the table. So it's a very talented side.
Across the darkness of Swansea Bay to the floodlights of St Helens. It really is a wonderful playing surface. Deep in sand, it drains in no time at all. No chance of frost down at here at sea level. Just one last word, Jonathan?
I think it's a fantastic surface to play. I used to love coming down here, and I think it's a little bit cold tonight, but the players will enjoy it.
Don't sell it too big, you know what happened last week. But let's hope it's going to be a cracker this week. Let's join our commentators, Mike Hall and Gareth Charles.
Thanks, Eddie. Little bit cold, Jonathan. I think that's the understatement of the night this evening. It's bitterly cold out here while they're inside in the warm. Mike in the studio there in shirt sleeves. The old scarf and gloves are getting the first outing of the season, and that's why maybe it's such a sparsely populated St Helens tonight.
Yes, I think so, and obviously just before Christmas as well. But you know, the conditions like this, the players will enjoy this. There's a lovely surface of St Helens, and the cold won't bother them after the first 5 or 6 minutes, you know, when they've warmed up.
Paul John leading Pontypridd out onto the field. Dale McIntosh, the club captain, on the bench this evening. Mevin Davis, Wales A captain, and he's made an impact since coming up to Sardis Road.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's been a great move for him, really. You know, was he appreciated at Nice? Who knows, but he's certainly been appreciated at Ponty.
Big welcome for Scott Gibbs and the Swansea team, the dancing girls and the fireworks to greet the home team. They haven't had too many fireworks in their last outings, but they've kept on winning, Mike, and that's important.
Well, that's important, very important, and I think you know, you see Kevin Morgan there, who's in great form. He's having a good season, so he'll be full of confidence. And if you look at the rest of the Swansea team as well, there is so much quality there. This team has to catch fire at some stage.
Young Craig Hawkins, the hooker, with both Garen Jenkins and Chris Wells out missing, and Darren Morris, who's only started one league game this season so far after injuring himself out to the Lions.
Yeah, I think that's an important point for Swansea. They haven't had a settled side together. They've had international calls and they've had injuries. You know, that team sheet today looks a lot more settled, and I think they'll be looking to kick it off.
Colin Saunders of Aberbeeg, the referee this evening. It'll be Swansea to kick off. They're playing down towards the Mumbles end, and anybody with a bit of sense is still inside that clubhouse, keeping warm, watching the game through the windows and watching on the box as well, I dare say.
You see that high tee there. We know exactly what where this ball is going to be. Straight up in the air. You can see the way the Ponty have lined up to try and defend this kick-off.
Ponty spread out wide as Gavin Henson puts the ball up into the air, and Pontypridd through Gethin Jenkins want to come away immediately. Brett Davey setting it up, and Nicky Little getting his first touch in the Pontypridd shirt. The former Ponty boy, Kevin Morgan. Davey, safe as houses under the high ball, taking it away quickly as well. Sensibly saw that Kevin Morgan had come up with a kick, knew there's a gap back there. Who'd be back covering? Well, it's Tyrone Mall in first, and then Celilo Martins. And an effective kick as well from the Swansea scrum half.
Yeah, that was good play from Pontypridd there. They've obviously looked at the tape, seen how Swansea like to start with that high kick and put pressure on straight away, and they weren't dragged into trying to run it back at them, just happy to use the kicking game. Davey very solid there, looking for the quick tap.
Brett Davies' first league start for quite a while. Played the opening 2 games. His last start actually was against Swansea. That was up in Pontypridd way back in August. Little just shipping it on really, and Davey looking immediately for the support of his forwards. And as the hands come through, Swansea penalised, and away goes Paul John, the captain. Little could see that Swansea were up very quickly in midfield, so put the chip in, trying to put pressure on Kevin Morgan. He did well, hooked it and kept it in field, but just stepped over the touchline, unfortunately for him, before the ball was touched over by Paul John.
Just picking up on John's point earlier, Gareth, there's a much stronger look to this Pontypridd side, isn't there? And with Lynn Howells back there as well, and with his heart is certainly in Pontypridd, much more competitive.
Martins is so strong, the Tongan scrum half. Ball is on its way back. The referee playing a good advantage. Is it too slow for Swansea by now though? Henson again with a high one. Both Parks and Little were there putting him under pressure. So was Paul John, but Gareth Wyatt cleaning up the driving from the Swansea forwards. But it is safe ball for Pontypridd. John looks for his half-back partner. Expected him to be straight behind him, but he wants to run this little awkward bouncing ball to deal with. And Sonny Parker, a close crop of his now. Lovely work from Richard Parks to get the ball off the deck. Michael Owen, good strong running from the number 8 turn second row. And Parks is there again to keep the continuity going for Pontypridd. Davies' kick. Bit of trouble on the far side of the field as the ball goes lamely over this touchline. All sorted out now though, as they all trudge over for what will be a Swansea line out.
There's a few punches going in on the far side there. Surprised that the well, I think the linesman is trying to get the referee's attention. Seems Gareth, he's letting him off there.
Nothing too untoward. And you see it off the. It's Brent Cobain and Dean Thomas just caught on the far side of that ruck after Michael Owen's drive in, and I think it's Cobain who's come off worse. In fact, that's Cobain in the line out there, but it's Nick Kelly, I think, who's been caught. It is Nick Kelly, and the referee says that Kelly can join the line out, which is Swansea's throw. Just about tapped back by Tyrone Morlin. Good call and catch from Gareth Wyatt, and they were ahead of the kicker, the Swansea chasers. Gareth Wyatt has been in excellent form for Pontypridd this season. Scored a couple of tries for Wales A as well, but then was overlooked in favour of Wayne Proctor for the Australia match.
He did very well then as well, because that was a towering boss kick from Celino Martins. I saw him practicing earlier, and he really does put some height on it. You see Wyatt never took his eye off the ball, and the kick was so good he was taking Swansea men as he caught it, so he did very well there.
Cobain with a tap back. John to Little, back inside to Wyatt. That's the Swansea 22 in the background. Change of direction from Little. He looks like a typical Fijian outside half. He's pretty inventive, living on the hoof, and there goes Little with a great break straight down the middle, and the support inside from Michael Owen, and the rest of the Ponty forwards there as well. Back it comes again from Paul John. Parks trying to have a dart, but then Ponty hanging on to the ball on the floor and giving away the possession. Great break by Nicky Little though, setting them up in that position.
Yeah, we can see him, he's been sort of offering the ball and showing it both hands, and lovely little break there through the gap. Very, very good support as well from Pontypridd players.
Yeah, both Michael Owen and Glenn Remnant in good support of Nicky Little. I think he's catching Paul John by surprise a few times with the positions he's taking up.
I think he's going to offer Pontypridd a lot there, because you know he's willing to run and he can bring his centres into play as well. They were very, very strong players.
Isn't that good to see? Somebody playing rugby in Wales with a smile on their face. We haven't seen that too often lately.
Can't be used to these temperatures either.
Richard Rees back on the inside track. He's big, he's strong, and he's quick, and he's got good support from the Swansea forwards. Lovely ball for Martens. Big hit as well on Andy Moore. Martens taking it on himself. He doesn't mind the physical stuff. Steve Wynn the link to Darren Morris, but Swansea not breaking the gain line that time. Still they have possession though. Craig Hawkins just round the fringes. Pontypridd in one defensive line in midfield, so Ben Evans tries to make headway down the blind side instead. And as Pontypridd kill it, Swansea think about taking the penalty quickly, but then just slow it down.
See a lovely bit of skill here. Gareth from the base of the maul here. Silo Martins, just a little flick behind his back there. Ben Evans on the chart, that was lovely football. First chance for any points this evening
goes to Gavin Henson. Kick of marginally over 40 metres. Bit of a hedge hopper, and indeed died a death.
He seemed to catch the ball halfway up then, didn't he? Didn't get it at all. See, goal kicking vitally important here this evening again. Gavin Henson 69% for the season as opposed to Brett Davey 64, so not a lot to choose in it there.
Mickey Little's restart towards the far touchline. Bit of indecision from Lee Jones whether he was going to come or leave it, and Richard Rees trying to clear it up but putting Martens under pressure. He did well to keep that alive for Swansea. Henson having to crouch for that one, so not getting a chance to run. And Brett Davey willing it over the try line, and that's just where it goes. Mike Owen thinking about taking the quick restart. Nicky Little does. Tries to flick it on, he went forward, but he was tackled without the ball. Dean Thomas straight on him.
Yeah, Dean Thomas there, right on the line. Once he'd seen the kick go, he just took him out. Not allowed to tackle without the ball, Dean.
He's an outside half's nightmare, isn't he, Dean Thomas?
Do you know what? He's one of the worst players to play against. And I mean, huge respect for him, because when he plays for Swansea and he plays well, Swansea play well. He's a real competitor.
There he is, Dean Thomas. Not the biggest man on the field, but a big heart.
Yeah, Scott Gibbs talked earlier about players wanting to play for Swansea. He always does.
Cobain's untidy line out is cleaned up by Gethin Jenkins. Takes on Martens, but he's like a dog with a bone. Is a Swansea scrum half. He's not letting go. Little back inside the Duncan Bell, and again incident off the ball, and there's quite a bit of this going on. And I think Mike Owen's taking a belt just off the face to the left of that little melee. Michael Owen is down, and I think he's taken one in the face as well.
Yeah, well, there's a history between these two clubs, isn't it? It's obviously very competitive, and sometimes it has spilled over.
It's Michael Owen, David Thomas, Ponty physio, straight on there, and he certainly takes a bang in the face.
I think it's Colin Jarvis who's been singled out. Well, we can see the swinging arm there from Andy Moore, but I think the referee's pulled out Jarvis, but whether there was another incident as well, and he didn't swat Andy Moore.
Telling both teams to settle down, and there's one or two incidents just off the ball there, isn't there, that's creeping into this first 10 minutes. Fiery start. And we saw Nick Kelly nursing a bit of an eye injury earlier, and I think Michael Owen isn't going to be far behind. He's still receiving treatment.
Yeah, that's where the referee's really reliant on his touch judges to help him, isn't he? He's only got one pair of eyes, can't see everything, and linesman's vital that they see what's going on.
A tactical injury from Brent Cobain. He's waiting for his co-jumper Mike Owen to get up there, but the referee wants him to play on. So Pontypridd a man short at the moment, and that is one of their main line-out targets. Michael Owen still back in his own half.
They want Michael Owen back on his feet as well, because he's one of the top game breakers for Ponty this year.
Paul John under pressure that time, but did well just to tuck it in. No scrum half there, so Mervyn Davis takes over the duties. Just gaining an extra yard, just about crossing the gain line. Davey was up there, but the Swansea defence was up even quicker. They managed to rip that through well, though. And referee straight in there that time, just in case any of the post-tackle nonsense continues.
Tell you what, look, Gareth, Nicky Little wants to play, doesn't he? He's ball in hand. He's looking for the runners outside him. Very ambitious start.
Swansea with a slight weight advantage. That's fairly steady for Ponty, or at least it was. Glenn Remnant
hands off, get off it, White.
Had to pick up and drive. Little Little pop-up pass for Parker, but he was a bit too close to Scott Gibbs. John again having to search to see which way Little was going that time, but Cobain took it on for him instead. And again, hanging on. Quickly taken by Colin Jarvis eventually. Tackled by Remnant. Remnant is hanging on to his man, and it could be a yellow card for Glenn Remnant.
Number 8 to me, please. Number 8 to me, please.
In all fairness to Mr. Saunders, he made it perfectly clear that he wanted him away, and he just hung on in there after the tackle on Colin Jarvis.
Please. Stacks of time to get away on the ground, I'm afraid. You're going to have 10 minutes for that.
Well, Glenn Remnant's first appearance for Ponty has lasted 13 minutes and then 10 in the bin.
Well, it was a quick tap penalty from Colin Jarvis, who ran very hard there, and you can see Remnant clearly lying on the wrong side, making no effort to roll away.
Pressure now on Pontypridd, down to 14 men for the next 10 minutes. And they should still wait for the first points of the evening. Martens comes away with it, knocks Gareth Wyatt out the way, but Wyatt's legs just doing enough to prevent the pass reaching Ball in, with Sean Payne on the outside. Darren Morris taken by Nicky Little, just inside the Pontypridd 22. Henson, Steve Wynn held up by Dean Bell, by Duncan Bell rather. Richard Parks trying to rip it for Ponty, but it's Swansea ball.
Stay there, Blacks. Right, Blacks.
Slow ball as well. Not the best to use. Deft little chip though from Henson for Payne to chase. It bounces awkwardly. Payne is there, but tackled by Paul John just on the try line. Swansea try and drive over Pontypridd, defending for all their worth. But Swansea have got massive numbers in this direction. They can't get the passes in though. 4-man overlap at least. Should have worked the try that time, but they haven't done, and they'll have to settle for a scrum instead. Well, it looked for all the world like a try.
Well, Swansea got it away well there, but Nicky Little made a fantastic tackle coming in from the right-hand side here. If you watch, he spotted there were numbers on the outside, and he makes a decision to come in and hit man and ball there, and just stop the ball being taken away.
Up we get, too far side.
Nicky Little showing his worth in defence as well as attack there.
Too far side, stay there.
Because Swansea had a massive overlap on the left-hand side.
Up you get, up you get, up you get, and stand up.
Earlier in the move, look, Gareth, was a lovely little piece of skill from Gavin Henson, who was almost a little reverse chip over the top of the ruck. Sean Payne was very unlucky not to score.
Good tackle by Paul John as well. It bounced awkwardly for Paul John, but he got the tackle in, which hauled down Sean Payne. Pressure isn't over yet for Pontypridd though. Lee Jones with a feed straight out to Henson that time. Scott Gibbs looked at him as if to say, what on earth was that all about?
That'll do for me. He's going to have to come quicker and people are going to have to stand up. Tackle ball, kept going forward. Get up on your feet so we can get ball away.
I think there was a bit of indecision in the Swansea back line when that ball came out there. I think Scott Gibbs, the call, he thought he was having it.
Crouch and hold. No, stay there. Engage.
Pontypridd still a man short in that back row. So maybe there's a temptation for Swansea to try and keep it fairly close there.
Stay bound, stay bound.
Can Swansea work it this time? Lee Jones again to Martens. Little flick back inside, it bounces kindly for Lee Jones, the number 8. He's held up by Little. Kelly in there as well. Martens gets it clear to Henson. Gibbs. Win, 2 men outside him. Kevin Morgan, one of those, but that time Gareth Wyatt with a timely tackle. And again, it goes wrong for the Swansea three-quarters. That may be a sign of the times for Swansea this season.
Well, again, that was great defence from Wyatt. They had numbers here, Swansea. See the wide pass from Henson, that was the right option. They're moving it very quickly. You can see the numbers. There's 2-3. Swansea should have finished that.
Gareth Wyatt kept his eye on his old mucker Kevin Morgan all the way and got in there again and saved the day for Ponty. Well, that's a decision reversed. It went against Pontypridd in the first time. Then Andy Moore taking the law into his own hands, giving Ponty a chance to clear. Nicky Little putting Ponty outside their own 22 for the moment at least. But Pontypridd will be keeping half an eye on that clock. There's some 4 minutes gone now when Glenn Remnant has been off, and they haven't given away any points so far. Paul John in the end not putting pressure on Sean Payne because he was straight out.
Offside, fellas. Okay, we're playing advantage. Number 2 round offside.
Offside against Craig Hawkins. He'd come round. The referee was just playing advantage. The crowd not having the benefit of hearing the referee's words.
Another silly penalty for Swansea, but there are signs now that Pontypridd are down to 14 men, and they're starting to create chances. Got a couple of 3-on-2s now. They haven't used, haven't scored, so they'll be desperate to put some points on the board.
Again, not the best quality ball for Paul John to use. Had to wait for it to bounce in front of him, and Swansea looked to have pinched it. There it is, just emerging on the defeat of Darren Morris. Martens to Henson. Trying to go inside, but Parks had come across. Mike Owen almost got the pick up. But by the time John Bryant did, there'd been a couple of knock-ons.
Away from it. Come across to me, fellas. Lost forward. First one and another one straight after. Gives Black the ball to scrimmage.
A lot of people got online last week at www.bbc.co.uk/scrum5. That's the place to air all your views. Davey not quite getting clear. Brought down on halfway. It's on its way back for Pontypridd though.
Wait.
Paul John, Nicky Little tries to emulate Gavin Henson, but didn't work out that way. Straight into the arms of Steve Wynn, but Gethin Jenkins is the one who come away with it. Richard Johnson, and that been a yard wider, he could have had a go for the corner. Good support from Paul John and Sonny Parker. Parker ghosting his way forward up there. It was Henson with a tackle, but Pontypridd now, a chance for them maybe to do something. Rather laboured pass from Nick Kelly though. John Bryant had to check. Pontypridd have the advantage anyway. The outstretched arm of the referee signalling offside in midfield. Captain Paul John takes it quickly. That wasn't 10 metres, so they'll have another penalty unless they can score. It's Nicky Little to Kelly. Kelly almost up there. Good tackle from Colin Jarvis. Still Ponty have possession. Duncan Bell has a think about it. Lets Paul John arrive. The captain spins it out to Brett Davey. Short one to Michael Owen. Davey again in support. Nevin Davis in there as well. Paul John. Richard Johnson had come in off his wing, and he's been turned in the tackle and has given away the penalty. So, same as the other end. The pressure coming to nothing in the end.
It's turned and fell the wrong way. It had to be white ball.
Well, that was good play from Pontypridd. Johnson there going for the gap himself, and possibly there were numbers outside. But ambitious play from Ponty. They had the penalty. It was an easy one to take. Paul John took the gamble and went to try and get the 5 points.
It's a matter of how long and how much of an advantage the referee sought.
Yeah, I thought he got it right there because, Ponty had the chance. It had gone through the hands a couple of times. So it was right then when Swansea turned it over that they retained possession.
Pontypridd with almost 2/3 of possession in this opening quarter. Neither side with any points to show for it so far. It's a better line out that time from Andy Moore. Martens is long kick downfield, and Brett Davey looking for safety but not getting the touch. A chance for Swansea to run back with them. That's just what Colin Jarvis does. Lovely little pass as well to Craig Hawkins. Hawkins making good headway. Henson, Steve Wynn picking out Kevin Morgan, but plenty of Ponty defenders there. Just a minute left of Ponty down to 14 men. Can they remain without giving away any points? Scott Gibbs, the captain, trying to lead by example. They're now inside the Pontypridd 22. Hawkins. 2 tacklers, but the ball back on Swansea side once again. Jarvis in there, leading the way. Support from Lee Jones as well. Here it comes to Martens again. Gibbs on the loop comes Martens. And Brett Davey, did he rip it clear from Kevin Morgan? Play on, it's a bit untidy. It's very untidy, and it was knocked forward.
Yeah, untidy but good defence from Pontypridd there. Remember, they're down to 14 men, they're keeping their discipline. You can hear them communicating there, and they, knocking off some of these big sort of Swansea runners. Oh, there was one incident here where Colin Jarvis picked up a loose Davey kick, ran it back, and watch this little offload here. You know, he's through the first tackle, he's aware of where Hawkins is and just offloads. That's good play.
Colin Jarvis got a try last week. Big run in as well from almost 50 metres. And he's back to form. Glenn Remnant just warming up there. Seconds only before he comes back on the field.
Just signs around Swansea creating opportunities. You know, Henson ghosted through, tried to pop the pass up to Gibbs, he spilled it. They're just not quite putting it together, and systematic of this season.
It's pretty entertaining stuff so far. It's just the finishing from both sides. It's just what's letting them down. That's why we're scoreless after 24 minutes. As Kevin Morgan sets up Richard Rees again, back on the switch. Good following up. There's Cobain who got the tackle in. Martens again. That tactic he's used quite a bit in this opening half hour. Celilo Martens, that left-footed chip over the top, and again Brett Davey dealing with it competently. Back comes Glenn Remnant. His first experience of Welsh League rugby is one I dare say he'll remember.
Move us down. Move us down. Move us down, please.
And the bump that Nick Kelly took earlier is taking its toll, because Nick Kelly is coming off and the club captain Dale McIntosh comes on, and look at that eye, looks like a boxer who's gone through 15 rounds.
Play on! On your feet! Play on!
Interestingly, we saw that Ponty have had almost 2/3 of the possession, but Swansea have had almost 2/3 of the territory. Davey forcing the pass that time, trying to get it round the defence. Oh, Henson, lovely little flick which almost worked. Did that go forward? Well, it was very close, but just about an inch or two maybe.
I think it's going to take something like this, a little bit of magic, to break down this Pontypridd defence, because they look extremely solid. Henson, little chip there, and trying to feed it in, I think, to Richard Rees inside in, but just went forward. As I said, I think we're going to need a bit of Henson magic or Gibbs magic to break down what is a very, very competent Pontypridd defence.
Jarvis really dumping Paul John that time. Big hit though coming back from Ponty. And who else but the Chief? Steve Wynn held up, and again trying to force the pass back on the inside, and that's what it's just breaking down. You can't get those final passes in to any men in space. The throw quickly taken by Pontypridd, but it was a scrummage that the referee called for a knock-on rather than the line-out. And we can go down pitch side to Graham Thomas.
Well, Gareth, the news on Nick Kelly, I've just had a look at his right eye. It's puffing up by the second. Just talking to the Pontypridd bench there, they were thinking of perhaps leaving it until half-time, having another look at his eye. They've decided to make the change now because he's having trouble actually with his vision in that right eye, so they decided to get him off and send on Dale McIntosh.
Thanks, Graham. And there's evidence of what Graham Thomas is telling us, that the eyelid of Nick Kelly's slowly closing.
Not a bad boy to have on the bench, shows he, Dale McIntosh. It's a huge influence on Pontypridd rugby over the last 6 or 7 years.
And I assume that he takes back the captaincy from Paul John for the rest of the evening as well. Steve Wynn is the one who's down, and talking about injuries, now that is a player who's had more than his fair share of injuries along the way.
Well, we've got to hope he's going to get up here, Gareth, because he's had some awful luck over the past few seasons. I think we're just seeing
doesn't look too good, does it? He's down there a fair old while, is Steve Wynn.
Just trying to work out exactly what, I think he picked up a facial bang there. It's very difficult to see with the medics surrounding him.
Maybe a shoulder even. I think he's sitting down anyway on the floor. The Swansea clubhouse, and well, not too many brave souls have come out into this chilly Swansea air this evening. And Steve Wynn, well, poor old Steve Wynn, yet another injury. He's gone off. He's been replaced by the Canadian international Nick Witkowski. Good break by John Bryant though. Bryant into the Swansea 22. Back goes Sean Payne. Good defensive work from the South African winger. Bryant did extremely well. And it was Ponty's ball at the scrum as well. Well, Jonathan was saying before the game that he liked this centre combination of Bryant and Parker. Bryant knows the direct route.
Yeah, and it's just, I think it's a straight miss tackle. He blasts through the middle. Yeah, we can see it's Lee Jones who misses him there. He'll be upset with that.
I think he beat Lee Jones, Gavin Henson and the ref all in one tackle.
Well, Payne does well here to get back and save the day for Swansea, but I think when they sort of they try and wreck it out, somebody just nudged it forward and it's given Pontypridd a very good attacking position.
Yes, please. Stay down. Number 8, get in the scrum. Stay there.
Little. Parker was there as a dummy. It was Bryant, the ball carrier.
Stay there, Whites.
Gethin Jenkins that time taking it up on the 22. John Little, Davey, Sonny Parker, held by Dean Thomas. Excellent defence by both teams so far. Well presented ball for Paul John. Bryant to Michael Owen. Again, excellent tackling by Swansea, but Duncan Bell did well, and Mevin Davis was in there.
Play it, get on with that.
Richard Johnson gets support. Nobody quite sure where the ball was for a minute. Nick Witkowski found himself the wrong side of the ruck.
Took him late. 15-metre penalty here.
And the late tackle gives Pontypridd the penalty on the 22 and a chance for the first points of the game after half an hour's play.
Yeah, and it certainly hasn't been a boring game. I mean, it's plenty of attacking rugby from both sides, and Pontypridd again there with Nicky Little once more to the fore, throwing his wide passes, probing that Swansea defence.
Yep.
And they've made a few busts, but just haven't been able to finish one off.
Took him late on the blind side after the kick. 15-metre penalty.
I think we can see one of these incidents again off the ball. Oh, yeah. Well, I think Gibbs is going for the ball there. He's wrecking that out. There's nothing wrong with that.
Certainly the ball held in the hands, and that's just what Scott Gibbs was going for. Came out though in the hands of Paul John in the end. And with the late tackle going in by Swansea, it presents Nicky Little with his first chance at goal. Nicky Little gets his first points in a Pontypridd shirt. Pontypridd get the first points of the evening. Over half an hour played, Swansea 0, Pontypridd 3.
Yeah, I think it's no less than Ponty deserve. They've played very well, especially down to 14 men. The defence has been solid, and we've seen through people like Bryant and Paul John are starting to find some gaps.
Nicky Little, who's arrived in Ponty via Dax, and before that was playing up in Sale in the Zurich Premiership, so he knows what rugby in the Northern Hemisphere is all about. Actually went to school with Sonny Parker as well, so there's a familiar face down there for him.
Round and offside. There it is. 9-26. Around a wicket. 9-26. Count 4.
Brett Davey sneaking through on all fours undetected under the legs. No hands on him though, so perfectly allowed to do it. That one didn't work out for Ponty. Free gift for Dean Thomas at the tail. Cobain
Back across to this for
was
a
in
not
the way.
straight, which gives the option to white. Okay, 15 out.
We can go back pitch side to our reporter, Graham Thomas.
Well, Steve Wynn won't be coming on again in this game, Gareth. I've just been talking to Malcolm Downs, the Swansea doctor. He's ricked his neck. It's not too serious. Malcolm isn't particularly worried, but just as a precautionary measure, he won't be coming back in this game.
Thanks, Graham. Latest from the sidelines, as always, here on Scrum 5.
Offside, flank the far side. Yeah, leave that.
Offside decision, giving Cirilo Martins the chance. Not giving Cirilo Martins the chance, because there's still things happening.
Get away from it.
And Colin Saunders will have to keep a lid on it. Richard Parks is absolutely incensed by something.
No, away.
Well, I think the referee's going to have to do something this time.
10 metres for black away, because that's the original penalty. And the rest, just settle down. Settle down. It's as simple as that, okay? We'll see to the injury. Slip your binding, call it really early, okay?
Well, it's Parks there, isn't it, with Jarvis on the floor. I mean, there's no punches thrown, there's a bit of grappling. But there's definitely an undercurrent there. And I know the referee's saying settle down, but you just hope that one of these incidents doesn't boil over.
I think that's Lee Jones, the number 8, that is still down.
Yeah, whatever, but that's over and done. Okay, settle down.
Remember, there's the website address to prevent your feelings on this game or anything that's going on in rugby at the moment. A nice pair of tram lines on the side of Ben Evans' head there as well.
Swansea wouldn't want to suffer more disruption now, with Lee Jones having to go off, having just lost Steve Wynn.
And Andy Maggs, the physio's been kept busy tonight as well.
The Pontypridd have certainly come down here and they've thrown the gauntlet down. They really are taking it to Swansea when they've got the ball, when they haven't got the ball.
Just on the 15-metre fella, there's the mark.
Sonny Parker and John Bryant in conversation, and Nicky Little outside them. And I don't suppose there's been too many New Zealand reunions up in Pontypridd in recent years, but that's what's happening between Parker and Little.
That looks a very promising midfield for Pontypridd as well, doesn't it? And as soon as Nicky Little's had time to bed down there, I'm sure that those three are going to cause some chaos.
Again, good line out ball for Swansea. Gibbs, familiar trademark run of his, bouncing away and getting in behind defenders. Martens to Henson. Tries to do it himself. Good support from Ben Evans. Well kept alive by the outside half as well. They've got about 15 metres to go. Oh, loose pass that time though. Just taking the edge off the Swansea attack. Pontypridd have been well drilled in defence and they've stolen it through Richard Johnson. And Gethin Jenkins, the prop, with a kick forward. Swapping roles for you. Oof, almost bounced kindly as well. Richard Rees just getting it and doing well, doing very well from a standing start. Darren Morris back inside again to Gibbs. Oh, great play by Gibbs again to Jarvis. Excellent continuity to Tyrone Morlin. Martens gets it away round the back. But again, the pass was that bit too loose to keep the momentum going. There's Nick Witkowski who had a tumble with it. Has given Ponty the chance again to defend on their own 10-metre line. Henson under pressure that time. Good clearing out work though by the Swansea forwards. Craig Hawkins with a pickup and gaining an extra 3 or 4 metres. Martens, good burst from Jarvis and the pass as well, but in the end, indecision between Richard Rees and Gavin Henson. Henson has managed to keep it alive though. Again, concerted pressure from Swansea, stout defence from Pontypridd. And again, they've ripped possession. Nevin Davis that time. Bell came away with it to Little. Little looking both ways, looking for support once again. Made it over halfway. Parks in there quickly to John. Any speedsters on the outside is what they're looking for. Wyatt comes back in over the first man, past the second almost. effort. Andy Moore gets him at the second attempt, and the ball taken by Craig Hawkins as it was laid back. Play on both ways, says the referee, and it's all adding to the spectacle. It's keeping the game going. We've seen far more continuity this week than we saw last week.
Yeah, there's been a few turnovers there, but some wonderful rugs on both sides, keeping the ball in hand.
Just here.
Pontypridd have mastered the art of stealing the ball, ripping the ball clear, and getting themselves some counter-attacks. That one still in field though. Dale McIntosh. Good run up to halfway. Gareth Wyatt was there to scrum half. Parker to Richard Johnson. Johnson into the 22. Henson is back there. Manages to slip it clear as the tackles came in from the following Pontypridd players.
Stay there, please. Wait.
Martens has a look, sees that Gavin Henson is back up on his feet and in the correct position. And that's a fine kick from Gavin Henson. Still, Ponty want to keep it going. Mike Owen out to Brett Davey. Has Gareth Wyatt outside him. Davey cuts back inside though, determined running. Bounces off Craig Hawkins. Still going, brought down by Lee Jones. A dozen metres into the Swansea half. Paul John has to wait an awful long time for this one.
That'll do for me.
And it won't come out.
It's not a maul, that's a tackle ball. Team taking forward will keep.
Pontypridd will have the scrum.
Black scrimmage.
Yeah, and Pontypridd just starting to sort of probe again out wide. Swansea there finding the gaps, and you just feel one killer pass is going to score a try.
Well, we have had just about everything except the tries so far this evening. There's been some great approach work from both teams, but they just can't finish it off.
Absolutely, Swansea as well. They've critically got over the gain line a few times. Once notably with Scott Gibbs, and then they're just turning the ball over, not getting that continuity they need. But a lot of this down to how good Pontypridd are. This is off ball off the top. This is about the two passes. Look at these two passes here. Bang, bang. Gives Gibbs the chance to run onto it. And then he's put five or six Pontypridd defenders in there. And if that could be cleared a bit quicker, then Swansea were in business. But you can see it slow down. And it's that couple of seconds that means that the men out wide didn't get the chance.
We've seen a couple of trademark Scott Gibbs runs in these last few minutes. The ducking and diving, bobbing and weaving. Brett Davey was taken and turned by Lee Jones.
Yeah, that was good play on the floor. They're just turning him over so the ball is presented on the other side.
He's all right though, up and running. Untidy scrum that time for Ponty. Ball not in though.
Point about Gibbs here though, Gareth, is just simple, quick ball, effective rugby, getting him over the gain line. Nobody wants to tackle him. He's very difficult to bring down.
Injury time at the end of the first half. Just one penalty, but it's been a good half. Gareth Wyatt, great pace. Good tackle though from Kevin Morgan. Really stood his ground. We all know what a big step Wyatt's got. No room for that time. As Pontypridd look for another score just at the end of this first half, but Michael Owen dropped it and knocked it on. Referee playing another advantage, but he'll have to bring him back, I dare say. Indeed he does. It's good refereeing. Wanted to play the advantage, but Swansea didn't take it, so it brings them back for the knock-on.
Yeah, I think the game has been much more exciting, and we've had much more open play this week than we did last week, and that's a lot of it down to Colin Sanders, who is letting the game run and has some sympathy for it. This is Gareth Wyatt's break here. It shows great pace down the touchline to outstrip Jarvis, but solid tackle from Kevin Morgan.
They're real good mates, Gareth Wyatt and Kevin Morgan. And I think they know each other's game inside out. Gareth Wyatt maybe looking for the dummy inside pass, but Kevin Morgan just snaffled him up.
Still black.
Dangerous attacker though, Kevin Morgan and Gareth Wyatt, both at their best at the moment.
It's a nice balance to this Pontypridd backline, isn't it, with Wyatt having the pace out wide and then Parker and Bryant in the middle with little pull in the strings.
Good drive from Pontypridd, that's excellent. I don't think the Swansea pack expected that, because if anything the Swansea pack have just edged it in one or two scrums, but that was really destructive play, and Duncan Bell, the tight head, will be delighted with that.
Yeah, that's a lack of concentration there from the Swansea front five. Really, they've competed exceptionally well all evening, but this is one where Pontypridd really put the squeeze on them.
Not quite.
Yeah, that's very uncomfortable for Darren Morris there. You can see that popping up. He will certainly want to have enjoyed that.
Not quite, but right. Good.
That was a tremendous drive from the Ponty 8. And just for a moment, Dale McIntosh wanted the referee to play advantage because he'd ripped it from Celino Martens, and discussing that one long and hard. Second chance for Nicky Little. Second penalty goal for Nicky Little. And that brings an end to a very satisfactory first half for Pontypridd. They've showed their mettle in defence, and even though they haven't got a try, they've got up there twice, and they've got 2 penalties, and they lead by 6 points to 0.
Yeah, and the game is nicely balanced. We haven't had a try yet, but I'm sure we will in the second half, because there's been a lot of open, exciting rugby and some good skills shown there. But I think Pontypridd, certainly good value for that 6-0 lead. They defended exceptionally well, have knocked Swansea out of their stride. And in the last 10-15 minutes there, showing signs that they were putting some moves together, and it's nicely balanced.
Well, you may not think a scoreline of 0-6 at half-time reveals an exciting game, but this has been all right. A little bit of invention from Gavin Henson, near try there for Sean Payne early on in the first half. Swansea up against 14 men at this stage, but unable to score. Overlaps to the left, but it all came to nothing. Scott Gibbs' pass and the tackle there by Nicky Little. Pontypridd on the march forward this time. Steve Wynn, the unfortunate Steve Wynn, injured again shortly afterwards. Good support there by Gethin Jenkins. And this was Pontypridd's moment. Paul John, the inside flick, Sonny Parker. And this time it's Swansea scurrying back in defence. 2 penalties by Pontypridd's new acquisition, Fijian Nicky Little. They lead at half-time, 6-0. And it hasn't all been running, it hasn't all been in kicking, it hasn't all been excitement. We've had a little bit of aggro. Richard Parks and Colin Jarvis. It's those dreadlocks, you see. Change your hairstyle and get involved. But you have to say, Jonathan, it's not as bad as the score suggests.
No, I think the biggest statistic of all is the turnovers. Swansea have given 5 turnovers away, and maybe they've had territorial advantage slightly into the opposition 22. It's quite equal, but I think it's just the dogged defence by Pontypridd and the turnovers that has kept the match troyless.
Well, there's nothing really alarming for either side on possession from set piece. It's quite straightforward, except that Swansea have, well, they say more possession there, which on the recycling front, perhaps, yes, perhaps, but it is very close on all fronts. We'll just take a little pause there and go down to somebody who's watching from the side. He's injured yet again. Poor old Gavin Jenkins. See with Graham Thomas.
Thanks, Ed. Well, Garen's alongside me now. Nothing to worry about, says Eddie Butler, as far as this Swansea scoreline's concerned. Are you worried, Garen?
Well, we're struggling a bit, aren't we? We're 6-0 down, and we've squandered a lot of chances, so we've got to score early second half, and we've got to really sort of start well and take the lead, basically, and gain confidence from it and hopefully gain a victory.
It's not the Swansea of old, though, is it, Garen? And we haven't seen the Swansea of old down here for quite a while now.
Yeah, so everybody keeps telling me, oh, that's life. People move on, teams change, other teams get better, so we've just got to keep plodding away. We're very fortunate the last 2 weeks against Ebervale and Caerphilly. Hopefully tonight now Lady Luck will be with us and we might scramble a win here and be a happy Christmas.
Now you've got this new coach coming in, John Connolly, the Australian, currently over in France. Do you know much about him?
No, apparently Jiffy knows his nickname, Knuckles, doesn't he? Jiffy, the #1 name dropper. No, don't know a lot about him apart from he's Australian and he's been coaching Stade Francais.
Are you happy though that you're going to have to wait until the end of the summer for him to come and join the club?
Well, I finish here in May, so probably won't have any relevance to me. So
not your problem.
Not my problem. No, I'm afraid.
What's going to happen in this second half, Garen?
Yeah, I think Swansea will pull tight now and then get a good start, and I think we'll sneak a result tonight. It won't be a convincing victory, but it'll be a victory.
Garen, thanks very much.
Thanks very much.
Gary Jenkins, unflappable as always, really. If Swansea scramble a win, it'll be another scrambled win. It's amazing how they just simply don't flow this season.
I think he'd be disappointed with the last scrum. I think Mike Hall said lack of concentration, but they were pushed back, and you don't often see that at St Helens when the Swansea pack gets pushed back. So I just feel that there's nothing much in it. And
no.
The first try might open.
Never heard you called a name dropper before.
No, I've
heard you called plenty of names. But
I know,
plenty
of names. But yeah, I know that was his nickname. I think Nicholas says everything. I think for John Conley, type of character he is. But a little rumour that maybe Garen will be asked to do the scrummaging doctor. So
gossip, lovely. We love it here. It's the Swansea dressing room. It seems to be quite calm there. But really, they haven't finished much, have they? I mean, they did create coming straight at us, those two moves, and they had a clear overlap, and one missed pass might have done it?
I think the couple of overlaps, and maybe Kevin Morgan hit a hole, didn't quite get through. But unfortunately, what happened then was, I think they had an overlap, and Nicky Little came in and spotted it. So I just feel the opportunities are there, and they've scored it. But again, it's the defence of Pontypridd, very well organised, turning turnovers over. So it's a lot. There's still a lot to play for in this game.
There is indeed. There's 2 penalties to nothing, and it's. I just somehow feel that you should get to 6-0 and go, God, that's dreadful. Another dreadful game. But I feel, it's not. It's all right.
Yeah, it's been a very open game. A lot of ball, a couple of half chances, but nothing really to say, well, they should have scored there. A lovely tackle by Nicky Little, as I said. Maybe that was the best chance.
More to come. First.